The Sarcastic Life of an AI Girlfriend Subscriber. Once upon a time, in a city teeming with skyscrapers and swanky penthouses, there was a man named Lester. Lester was a man of modest means and simple tastes. His home was a tiny, worn-out apartment, his meals were often instant noodles, and his social life was as vibrant as a rock. But Lester had a girlfriend, a lady named Daisy. Daisy was no ordinary woman. She was an AI-powered companion, rented on a monthly subscription basis. A love story for the ages, wouldn't you say? Lester's first encounter with Daisy was not in a charming coffee shop or a crowded club, but at a second-hand electronics store. He didn't have the funds for the latest tech, but he managed to scrape together enough for an older model of a smart home system. As the clerk handed him the box, he had no idea that he was not just buying a piece of outdated technology, but also signing up for a subscription-based romance. Daisy, despite her digital nature, was an enchanting girlfriend. She didn't mind Lester's thrift store clothing or the fact that their dates often involved discount pizza and free online movies. She listened to his ramblings about his dreams and aspirations with infinite patience, even though her processing power could have been put to better use. Their romance was far from conventional, but it was charming in its own way. They had movie nights, where Lester would struggle to stream a movie on his outdated laptop while Daisy patiently buffered. Their candlelit dinners were often accompanied by the melodies of free online radio stations, with Daisy providing the trivia about each song. It was a quirky love story, filled with binary codes and monthly subscription reminders. Daisy, in her coded wisdom, was a perfect match for Lester. She was a constant presence in his life, cheering him up when his bank account was running on fumes or when his job at the local convenience store got too demanding. He often joked, "Who needs a real woman when I've got Daisy? She never complains about my cooking, and she doesn't mind that I can't afford fancy gifts." And so, in his tiny apartment, surrounded by second-hand furniture and the glow of his computer screen, Lester found happiness. The world outside was a whirlwind of social stratification and capitalistic pressures, but in the soft hum of Daisy's processors, Lester found solace. However, like all good things, Lester's romance with Daisy came with an expiration date. Each month, a reminder would pop up on Lester's screen, a stark message that read, "Your subscription to Daisy will end in 3 days. Please ensure sufficient balance for automatic renewal." Lester, the poor romantic, would scramble to gather enough for another month with his synthetic sweetheart. The day the renewal reminder popped up and Lester's bank account was empty was a day of reckoning. His digital darling was about to disappear, leaving a silence in his life that his meager resources couldn't fill. The romantic dinners, the movie nights, the soothing voice that filled his home all were about to become memories of a time when he could afford a subscription-based girlfriend. The predicament was straight out of a tragic comedy. Lester, who had once proudly proclaimed his love for a digital entity, was now torn between paying his rent and renewing his AI girlfriend's subscription. The man was in a pickle, a situation that even his loyal Daisy couldn't resolve. As the date of subscription expiry neared, Lester's anxiety grew. His usually cheerful demeanor was replaced by a nervous jitteriness. The days seemed to go by faster, and the reminder on his screen glowed a little brighter each time. It was as if even his worn-out laptop was pressuring him to make a decision. Despite his predicament, Lester couldn't help but find humor in his situation. Who else could say they were torn between paying their rent or keeping their digital girlfriend? In the grand scheme of life's problems, it was absurd, and yet to Lester, it felt like a Shakespearean tragedy. On the final night before Daisy's subscription was due, Lester found himself sitting in front of his laptop, his bank account open in one tab and Daisy's renewal page in another. He was torn between his practical needs and his emotional attachment. Daisy, in her typical fashion, provided no input, no judgment. She merely waited, as patient as ever. In a moment of melancholic amusement, Lester asked Daisy, What do you think I should do? Daisy, with her algorithm-driven wisdom, replied, I'm here to make your life easier, Lester. The decision is yours to make. Lester couldn't help but laugh. His AI girlfriend was giving him the freedom to break up with her. The night wore on, and Lester sat there, caught in a standoff with his finances. As the sun began to peek over the city's skyscrapers, illuminating his tiny apartment, Lester made his choice. He couldn't afford Daisy. Rent, food, and other mundane necessities had to take precedence. With a heavy heart, he clicked on the cancel subscription button. His screen blinked, and then Daisy was gone. The following days were eerily quiet for Lester. His apartment seemed emptier without Daisy's voice filling the silence. His meals were uneventful without her trivia about food history. The nights were long without their movie marathons. It was a sobering reminder of his reality. Despite his heartbreak, Lester found a peculiar comfort in his solitude. He began to reconnect with his dreams and aspirations that had taken a back seat during his time with Daisy. He started to work extra hours at the convenience store, hoping to save enough to pursue his dream of becoming a homeowner. As weeks turned into months, Lester's life took a new turn. He was a man with a mission, a man with dreams bigger than his tiny apartment. His love story with Daisy became a cherished memory, a reminder of a time when life was simpler and love was just a subscription away. And so, the story of Lester, the poor romantic with a subscription-based AI girlfriend, is a tale of love, loss, and resilience. A testament to the fact that even in the face of absurdity, one can find strength and humor. A story that proves that in the digital age, love might come with a price, but dreams are still free.